Hi guys, it's Andy from Man City Fan TV. I'm here with Ray.
Hi guys.
Well, game's just finished. 3-0 Man City. First half wasn't great. I mean, it was bloody awful, if I'm honest, and very, very sloppy. What were your thoughts, just basically on the first half performance?
Exactly. Once we scored that goal, it's like we thought we don't need to put any effort in. We'd put the effort in before that. We were decisive. We had energy, quick passes, movement, a lot of movement, causing Huddersfield a lot of trouble. And then it's suddenly like, well, we've got the goal. Let's just sit back and pass it around. And suddenly Huddersfield got not proper chances, but they got some moments which got the crowd buzzing, got the players feeling that, hang on, we can get at these again. And it's happened before. You know, we've sat back and it's like, we can get at these. We can get a goal. We can put pressure on. And I was going to ask you, what do you think Pep said at half-time?
Oh, God, he would have gone mental, absolutely mental, because it's not often you see him just sat there. Normally, when things are not going too well, he gets up and he starts giving a bollocking. But I think the performance was so poor. I mean, the passing. I mean, Fernandinho, I've not seen him have such a poor game in a long time. I mean, his passing was way off. He looked leggy. Gundogan was giving the ball away cheaply, and even Kevin De Bruyne. And it was like, I think Pep just sat there and just thought, right, okay, we've got a 1-0 lead. I'll get them in at half time. And Catalonian bollocking, as somebody said on Twitter, is ensuing. And I think that's what he did. He kicked him up the arse. But if we talk about obviously, we got the first goal with Danilo deflected.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I mean, it's a deflected goal. But if we move... Go on, sorry.
We got a bit of luck.
Yeah, I mean, of course. Yeah, of course. I mean, I think it was just maybe on target, but still, the deflection, the keeper would have saved it easily. But if we move on to the next talking point, the biggest one, which is obviously the penalty appeal, I mean, it's pretty embarrassing, certainly for the PGMOL. I actually tweeted Mike Dean, basically saying, "What are your thoughts on that?" Because that is pretty embarrassing. And Gary Neville immediately was like, "There's just no discussion on it. It's a clear penalty." What were your thoughts?
Oh, all day long. I mean, you can argue Mariner is a bit further away than the assistant referee on that side. But the assistant should have called that. I mean, it was close enough. Mariner was, I think, close enough. And just I'm not saying we're experts on football, but if you understand football to a reasonable level.
Speak for yourself.
I know you played at a higher level than me, mate. But if you understand football and you've watched football and these refs should have, and they've been around football teams, you should realise that the chances, the probability of that defender getting to that ball cleanly was very, very small. He was so far away from the ball when he went for it that it was impossible physically for him to get that ball without going through Sterling. And he went through Sterling and he didn't even get the ball. It was, I don't know, half a yard away from him. He was so far away, no chance. He wasn't even in the same ballpark. It was just crazy. And between them, the assistant ref, the lino, and the ref didn't give it. It is scandalous. And, all we can be thankful for that VAR is coming in next season. And these horrendous decisions, whether it was a mistake by the ref and the lino, whether they were badly cited, whatever the reason for it, they've made a big absolute monster mistake. I don't know what Pep would have said. I mean, Pep would have said, it is what it is, whether we'd won the game or not or whatever. But it isn't what it is. I mean, he has to be diplomatic now. He's had enough trouble in his first season at City with the rest and with his comments. But you can't not give decisions like that. And VAR is going to, for all these idiots, and I'm going to call it, all these idiots who complain about, is it offside a little bit, and say that's the reason not to have VAR. What you saw today was a bloody good reason to have VAR. It's going to make big decisions correct, and that's what matters. And marginal offside, yes or no, okay. I think that's just something we're going to have to accept with VAR. But blatant, obvious black and white decisions, and we're going to get them right next season. So that's what I'm happy for. But, very poor show from the rest. And I bet you Mike Dean don't reply to you.
Mike Dean, actually, I like Mike Dean. He's actually quite funny. So every time I've always tweeted him, most of the time he comes back with a funny quip and everything. So I don't mind Mike Dean. I think like I said, I think he's quite funny. So it'd be interesting to see. I've not looked at my Twitter account. I was watching the second half, and I think at the time of us recording this, we don't know what Pep said in the post-match interview, and I'm sure it'll come out. And I'm sure I agree with you. I think he'll probably just dismiss it and sort of roll his eyes, because I'll be honest with you, Andre Mahrez probably went in at half-time, looked at it, and it wouldn't surprise me if at some point he's either approached Pep or Fernandinho as the captain or Sterling and said, look, yeah, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Because if he doesn't, then, I mean, there's something drastically wrong with it. I mean, because it was an absolute stonewall penalty.
It was an embarrassing mistake. Let's be honest. And if you can't apologise for that,
well, I mean that's all that we want. You just turn around as a referee and you go, I thought he got a touch. I was wrong. Blah blah. But you've got that, like you said, you've got that referee's assistant there who should be able to help Andre Mahrez with that decision. But it is what it is, and we've had all the debates after everything yesterday with the Mo Salah, and it just goes to show you that what. It's fine. We won 3-0. But if that would have stayed at 1-0 and then a lucky goal, an own goal or something, then it could have turned into something different. But it is what it is, and we move on. First half was absolutely garbage. Like I said, it was just poor. It was slow. And I think reading tweets at halftime, everyone was saying the same thing. So I don't think it's just us saying that. So moving on, second half, they came out and it was like the old City. Well, the old City for like 20 minutes or so, and I think we went back into the let's reserve our energy. But we got the goal, a lovely pass from Kevin De Bruyne into Leroy Sané. It was one of the first sort of bits of triangular football we saw, and then it was just another typical City goal. So what were your thoughts on De Bruyne's pass to Sané, Sané's cross to Sterling?
It's obviously a very nice pass from Kevin. I mean, you can argue it's debatable, and I know opposition fans, some of them. He was
offside.
He was offside. It was marginal, and look, the linesman on the other side, he didn't get a clear view. It's very difficult, and with VAR, probably would have been disallowed.
Yeah, it would have been definitely disallowed.
But Leroy did what he needed to do, put a nice ball in, and Raheem scored with his head. How often do you see that?
I know, it actually a proper diving header as well, because it wasn't like his normal one where he whipped it across the floor. I mean, he whipped it in at such pace. I think it was one of those, and this is where Sterling is so good. It's like when he has to make a decision sort of instantly, he dived, proper diving header, because I didn't think the cross was as good as it turned out to be. But Sterling, giving him his due, he got his head on it. Yeah,
no, I mean. You think you're right with Sterling with that split second. He hasn't got time to think, and it's natural. He's a natural footballer, and I think sometimes when he has a few seconds to contemplate what he's going to do, maybe he confuses himself and he thinks, because he's got so many options, he can do so many different things.
That's the key point to it, is that there sometimes are 3-4 options, and I don't think he's a David Silva or a Kevin De Bruyne where they can actually take those decisions instantly and pick the right one. I think he gets a little confused sometimes as which is the best.
Yeah, but really the only option there was to put your head on the ball, and you didn't have any time to think about it, to worry about it, and he did the business, and he probably kept his eyes open for that one as well. So it was a neat goal. It's what we needed early in the second half, and realistically. That put the game to bed, and within a couple of minutes, it was all over.
Yeah, and then moving on, obviously at 2-0, you thought we're not going to go into another sort of like lull again, but we didn't. We continued. I'm not sure. I think it was Laporte who played a first-time ball into Sergio, who made a run across their defenders and just made a beautiful little sort of cushioned header into Leroy's run. Leroy on his chest took it down and then just nicely put it away. What are your thoughts on that goal?
Oh, it's a very nice goal. It's like typical City. You know, we're playing the ball, moving around, nice, neat passes, and we're getting someone beyond their defence. A nice, whether it's a pass or a header, however we get it there. Leroy Sané's got pace to burn, and you could see that. You know, I mean, we were a much faster team than Huddersfield. We saw that, I think, all over the pitch. And yeah, it was a nice finish from Leroy. I did notice when Sergio made that pass, I was thinking, if Leroy scores now, you got triple captain. I knew.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Did Sergio have a shot all game? I'm not sure. I'm not sure he did. But I kept thinking, oh, he's going to get on the end of something. But then finally he got that little cushion header and Leroy scored. And I'm thinking, well, I've got Sterling, Sané and Sergio as my triple captain. Happy days. I can't complain about that. But yeah, overall, it wasn't a great game because after the goal, we sort of went into our shell again a little bit. And I mean, that's fair enough. I understand sort of 20 minutes to go, you will just turn around and think, no injuries. You know, Fernandinho came off and a rest for him because, to be fair, I don't think he had a great game today. I thought he was pretty poor. I thought Gundogan was so-so. So, yeah, I mean, to get Bernardo on there with a little bit of legs and whatever else, David Silva on to control the game.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I would have liked all our subs on early, after about 60 minutes. Get it, because Huddersfield were not going to come back into that game unless we were really, really poor, and get your big players off. It was noticeable that he kept Sergio on and didn't bring Gabby on. So obviously, you were right.
I think that's point. Yeah, I think I was right. I think that's point to Wednesday.
Yeah, you were right. And it looks like Gabby will play on Wednesday against Burton, which I think when you look at it, whatever way you look about confidence in Gabby and everything else, he's had a decent run in the team. Okay, it's been some lower league teams, but he's been banking the goals in. So I think, but Sergio is still number one, and we needed you got to look at it, and I'm sure Pep is looking at it, is we've got to get our number one team out, get the game sewn up, get the points in the bag. Don't worry about confidence of players. Gabby's had a good run. He's scored plenty of goals recently. He'll get another run out on Wednesday, so there's not to worry about there.
Which is why I posed the question, and I said, on the podcast I did with Bolt from the Blue, and I said, don't be surprised if Gabby ends up top scorer at City this season because of the cup competitions. Because I think that's where he's gonna get played, and I think if he plays, which I think he will on Wednesday night, if he gets another hat trick or whatever, suddenly he's 5, 6, 7 goals ahead of Sergio already at this point of the season, with the final coming up and the FA Cup. So I think I don't care who finishes top, if I'm honest, but I think Sergio needs game time. Even though he run around today, I think he's still nowhere near where he was. And the same with Kevin De Bruyne. I think he just needs a couple of more games, and he'll be back to where he was last season. But one other sort of two other sort of talking points. The Kyle Walker tackle. I mean, it was a yellow card. I don't think it was a red card. But I mean, what is he doing?
He makes some rash decisions. Yes, he's got pace to burn, and yes, he was getting there hand over fist. But it never, for me, looked like he was ever going to make the ball. And as Gary Neville said, he should have sprinted over there and stood up. Diving in, what was he going to gain by diving in? You get it wrong, you get a yellow card or a red card, or the guy nicks it in front of you and you're left on the floor. Standing up and jockeying him, that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Walker, it's sad to say, he made some poor decisions today. He was at fault a few times. Very rash decision. And they did play on him because even slower guys than Kyle Walker were trying to take him on, looking for this error and this mistake and maybe a foul and another yellow card and getting sent off. So it was disappointing that he's had a few games out. He's had a kick up the backside, and that's quite obvious. And that's why he was left out. But he's come back and he's, I think, let himself down a bit today.
Yeah, I don't think he was great today. I think some of his passing, but he did on a couple of occasions. His pace got him out of trouble, and he came back, and that's that's his game in a nutshell. I think he's using his pace, but I think today he got away with it because, I think it was a yellow card. But what that does with such an early yellow card is it puts you under pressure, like you said. And I think that was one of the reasons with Fernandinho's yellow. I think it showed who is the most important player, Fernandinho or Walker. Fernandinho got brought off, and it was saving him just in case, because you never know. You just make if a referee can make a mistake like Mariner did for the Sterling penalty, he could turn around quite easily and give a yellow card again for something that actually wasn't a yellow card offence. So, I think I agree with you. I think he didn't have his best game. I think he needs to be careful, because it's one thing doing it in the Premier League. I think when it comes to if he starts doing things like that in the Champions League, some of those European referees will give a straight red, and then we're in trouble again. We've got Danilo there. We've got to find a left back, etc., etc. But it is. It's difficult, and so it was a strange one today. It was one of those, games whereby I think City just went through the motions, and thankfully we had enough quality on the pitch there where we could rest really the last 20 minutes, and
I think that's
easy.
We relied on that first 15, 20 minutes of the first half to get a goal. First 10 minutes of the second half, we stepped it up. We showed our quality, and our quality was way too good for Huddersfield. Yeah. But we also and this is a thing to notice, we've got quality, and when we step it up to the third or fourth gear, we can blitz teams and blow them away. But when we don't put the effort in, when we're a bit sloppy and casual, we don't look great. It doesn't.
No, we don't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't look great, and I think today proved that for 20 minutes of the first half. And all right, maybe not the last 20 minutes, because the last 20 minutes in games, sometimes you do coast if you're 3-0 up, and you sit back and reserve your energy and just keep the ball, I think. But certainly in that first half, I think definitely when we drop our level to first or second gear, you've always, especially all right, if it was 3-0 in the first half and we did that, fair enough. But at 1-0, there's dangers there. We've seen it with Palace, we've seen it with Chelsea, we've seen where we drop off a little bit, and suddenly they only need a lucky deflection like Danilo's, and it's game on again. But I think they didn't really offer a great deal today, and I think they had that one header, which Ederson did an Allison, and made it look like a world-class save. And I'm sure City fans will be on Twitter straight away saying Ederson world-class save like the Liverpool fans do. Routine save.
Anything else in the game?
No, not really. I think it was. I think overall, comfortable 3 points. We move on to Wednesday at Burton away. It'd be interesting to see who plays, who doesn't. Oh, just one last thing is Mahrez. Mahrez wasn't even on the bench. I mean, I saw your tweet and I got involved a little bit with the tweet, but I've heard nothing. I've not seen anything as to why he wasn't on the bench at all. So. You said to, I think, Andy Dixon, is it potentially personal problems or whatever? Because we've heard no injury. I've not seen anything.
Unless it's a last-minute injury, yesterday or today, and Pep's not said anything, because you wouldn't expect the bench to be without a wide man. Because we had Bernardo there, yes.
Yeah.
Like you say, and like you want him to play inside, you don't want him to play out wide. You'd expect Mahrez there, instead of, for argument's sake, Foden, because that's what you'd expect. Or maybe and rest Bernardo totally and not play, even have him in the squad. Yes, you can't fit everybody in the squad, and that's it. Or maybe Pep's saying to Foden, one of the things, Foden's going to stay at the club because he loves it, but one of the things is you're always going to be on the bench. You're always going to be on the bench. And so maybe it's just one of those things that Foden's on the bench and we've only got only a certain number of spaces for everybody else. And if you can have Gundogan starting,
maybe
two Silvers on the bench. So
it'll be interesting to see what's said about it, because I mean, personally, I'm not bothered, because I think if he's fit, he'll play on Wednesday night anyway. I always thought he'd be on the bench today if he was fit, but it was interesting that he wasn't at all in the squad. So maybe he's just sort of sent him away and given him a few days off. And let's face it, I saw the tweet of Dean from DZ Football, who does all the Algerian stuff, and he said it's amazing, isn't it? He said, I don't know whether you saw the tweet. He said it's amazing that if Jesus is dropped from the team, you don't get Brazilians going absolutely mental. Yeah. If you get Bernardo Silva is a drop to the bench, you don't get the Portuguese fans going mental. Yet Mahrez is not even in the squad, and it's World War III. Yeah. So I said maybe we should bring back Mahrez watch, but no. I was only.
I'm not saying that's. I'm not saying don't read between the lines into something that's not there. I'm not saying that's the reason I thought Mahrez should have been playing. Yeah, I'm not saying it because of the abhorrent abuse that we actually get. Yeah. If we say Mahrez had a 5 out of 10 performance, that's just not good enough. Even if he had a 3 out of 10 performance and we give him a 5, we still get abuse. So that's not the reason why I said he should have played.
No, but it'd be interesting to find out why he wasn't on the bench. But maybe it's nothing. Maybe just give him a couple.
Maybe it's his life. Who knows?
Maybe he's giving a couple of days off for Wednesday.
As we said, you can't. We got a 25-man squad or whatever, and we've got Foden as well, who's and maybe one or two other under 21s who are in as part of the squad. You can't get everybody on the bench. How many go on the bench? 7. So you've got 18 players who are figuring the matchday squad. So 5, 6, 7 players are not going to figure whatsoever.
Yeah. That's what it is. It's 3 big points. We move on. We put the pressure back on Liverpool and onwards to Burton on Wednesday night. And no doubt we'll be putting out loads of videos between the next sort of few days. And anyway, guys, this is just a quick sort of chat after the match. Like I said, we've not seen the Pep interviews or anything like that. We've been doing this now to get it out to you guys. But anyway, this is Andy from Man City Fan TV. Hope you enjoyed the videos that we've done over the last few days and the quick roundup after the game where City won 3-0. So, Ray, thanks very much. You can crack on what you're doing. I've got to go out now. So
I've got to leg it. Take my kids to a birthday party in Manchester, trampoline park, and so I've been running around today like crazy. I told Andy, look, my mum's not been well. She's been in hospital last week. It's nothing serious, thankfully. But family comes first, even for football. But she knew I wanted to watch the game, and even I had a chance of a ticket last night, and I had to say in the home end, and I had to say no. Look, I've got to spend a bit of time with my mum. It's how it is, and missing the game. And it's only about 20 minutes, 25 minutes from my house.
I know, you should have sent it to me. I would have had it. I would have gone in the home end.
It's probably quicker to get to...
Yeah.
It is. And, it's a shame because I'm hopefully... in May, I'm doing some work with the Huddersfield Town charity. So more charity attached with them. Most clubs, for that. Most clubs have got a charity attached with them, and I'm doing some work with them on a voluntary basis. You'll see, I think later in the year, I'm doing stuff with quite a few clubs, Premier League and way below. So, hey guys, thanks for watching the video. We've had another comfortable victory, and time to sign off.
Okay, cheers, mate. This is Andy from Man City Fan TV. Don't forget, subscribe, click notification, and we'll see you soon, Blues.
Cheers, guys.